Hello, and it is Tyson here. Today, we're not gonna be playing a game. Tonight, we are going to show some of the leaks of a game I've been working on for months. Limitless Rooms. Reimagined. Yes. It's basically a brought back version of my old game. So, here, I'm gonna show some of the leaks so that you'll be aware of this game coming out sometime. So yeah. All right, so we are in the game right now. This is the unfinished version of this game. If you want to play it out yourself, I will download this file and privately probably share it. I don't know how I'm going to privately share it, but I'll find a way to. Yeah.
Warning.
So as you can see, this is the A section. Going to be a D section, a J section, an I section, and a G section. Let's look at the A section first. The first entity that's going to greet you, well, obviously, is hello. Oh, wait, where is he? Hold on.
Warning.
Right here. I don't know how he spawned, but apparently he did. This is an entity. That really does nothing. He's a Yappuccino, if you want to ask me.
Warning.
Let's jump into the sections real quick before we move on to the This is the D section. Basically, is the second section that you will see after you reach A600. Yeah, this is basically the D section. This is probably the only custom section to ever exist on the old Limitless Rooms. But on this version, there's more sections. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Though, yeah, for some reason, the hiding spots from the A section are still here, which is not a bug. I put them there purposely so that we can just avoid anything. Yeah. If we didn't have these blue lockers, then D140 would have been impossible of hide from. Yeah. Now, I'm not on the D section to work in progress yet, but the first entity in the D section would have spawned at D5. Now you know.
Warning.
The I section right here. No, I'm at the J section. This is the J section, the third section you'll encounter. And of course, it's going to be reached after you go on 100. Yeah. Now, as you can see, the door noise is different, of course. One of the noises are just the A section door sped up. Basically, I don't know why, but this section shares the same sound with the I section, which I'm going to show you next. The first entity that would spawn in normal circumstances would have spawned at J10.
Warning.
Here's the I section. It's the fourth section. I forgot what the first entity would have been, but I believe it's supposed to be I0, which is basically a doppelganger of A0.
Warning.
Yeah. Then finally, we got the G section, which looks pretty cool. Oh yeah, I forgot. J section also shares with G section. Yeah. I think this, but the first entity to spawn in the G section is also probably G10. Yeah, I'm assuming that. Now, we're gonna hop onto the entities. Sorry if there's no images or anything, but just listen closely and look at the captions. Um, there's A0, which I told you about. There, A24 is supposedly the first entity to actually ever encounter, and you have to hide from it until it disappears. It rebounds one time. Next is A36, which is EXE1, but different. I don't know. You just have to avoid being near it. A38, don't look at it or else you'll die. Pretty easy. Now for A60, if you are a Rooms fan, you obviously know how A60 acts like, but A60 just rushes to the current room and budges the door like really hard. It breaks it. Um yeah. Next entity is A85, which is basically A60 if it were to rush in the middle of the current room instead, and not budge the door but disappear like fading away. A88 is probably the first high up entity you'll ever encounter that is very very helpful because it's basically A0 but it has a random positioning and um if you touch it with your cursor, it would be excited and heal you, unless you have 100 health. Because if you have 100 health, then he can't heal you since you're on full health. By the way, which is pretty useless fact because you all already know about that. A90 is a very very tricky entity. But thankfully, he has a spawn queue that displays on the screen for probably a split second, where um he would have silently dashed through the doors, and um when he's active, he will come back if you leave the lockers or hiding spots. But if you do it more than 3 times, he won't come back. So yeah. Just only get out of the locker or hiding spot once he does another queue. That means he's despawning. Now we got A100. Now this one's also a tricky one, but it displays a countdown on a screen every time it spawns, counting from 5 to 0. And when it counts to 0, it basically spawns and checks all lockers. Now you're gonna be like, oh, but how do you hide from him? Blue lockers and tables exist, so you can hide in them instead of lockers because lockers are deadly for an entity like A100. Next is A130, which I believe it is supposed to be A85, but it rebounds 1.5 times. So that means it will rebound once and then come back to rush at the current room and despawn at the current room. Yeah, it's basically A25. That's what A130 is. I mean, I think he's actually really, really fast and strong, so he'll probably also break the door like A60. And then I believe we got A135, which acts like A120 from doors, which, if you don't know, is it's A200, but it rebounds 1 to 3 times. Yeah. So A24 if it rebounded 1 to 3 times instead of just one. And then finally we got A200, which will be A60 but reversed. Yeah.